Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Mattel is getting sued. Mattel is getting sued over those Wicked dolls. You know, the ones we
shocker.
talked about. Yeah, of course. Somebody's chasing the ambulance there. The Wicked dolls that had the wrong URL on the packaging. They were recalled.
No, the dolls were out for a long time before anybody even mentioned it.
They were out for
at least
months.
At least a month. And no one mentioned it prior to someone catching it, and then it got brought up on a Reddit thread, a Reddit post, I think. But I mean, before that, it has been out. They've been out for a long time, and no one notices because most people don't even go to the websites.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the wrong URL was printed on the packaging on the Mattel dolls. Then it actually took people to wicked.com, which is a porn site. And it was supposed to go wickedmovie.com, and they recalled those dolls. So, of course, now we've got somebody out there trying to get rich off Mattel. I'm like, man, you're chasing the wrong toy company. They're not doing very well right now. But
well, beyond that, there are some things about the site that, okay, we'll talk about when we get to it. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do. Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-com. Check out the reef. You can buy all kinds of clownfish and Dismal Kingdom merchandise. And we're going to be adding some more merch here pretty soon. We have the community that you can join as well. You get exclusive content that you will not find on YouTube. And also that same content is mirrored on Locals if you prefer to join over there, clownfishtv.locals.com. So let's talk about this. It's come from Deadline. Hardcore Wicked. Mattel thanks fans for patience as porn link fiasco conjures $5 million and more class action against the toy giant.
Now, I'm not surprised about this because it was an issue that involved kids. But the website, okay, the story that we're going to hear this woman telling, if her child went to the website as she claims, one, you have to prove it happened after, before it became common knowledge.
Yeah.
Two, you have the site and you have to go through a gateway and everything saying that you are 18 and acknowledging that the site has bad material. They have gateways in place. And even then, when you go to the site, the original pictures were not bad. You had to scroll down to find the bad ones. And any of those things even an 8-year-old would have noticed, been like, this isn't the right site.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things here going on. Then people are like questioning, like, well, how did an 8-year-old get to this? If they have their phone, why aren't there parental controls on the phone?
Right. To
get to it? It just seems weird to me. Like, of course this is going to happen because people are just going to be like, oh, I want some of that money, And I get it if your kids really did see bad things. But the flip side is, I'm like, you get class action lawsuits a bit, Well,
like you were mentioning before, like the dolls were out there for a couple of months.
No one noticed.
Nobody noticed. They actually had reviews of the dolls on YouTube. And they were like, moving the packaging around, and you could see the URL. I mean, it's very tiny. It was on the bottom of the box, and nobody noticed it. It actually, I think it was on Reddit like a month or two after the dolls came out. And then once it hit social media, once it hit the mainstream media, then everybody started coming out of the woodwork like, oh my God, my eyes. I went to the Wicked website. And
I went, I'm sure they went to the website, and I'm sure it was most likely after it became out there. You'd have to prove that you went there before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So on or about November 11th, 2024, this is the complaint. The plaintiff purchased a Wicked doll for her minor daughter, says the 7-claim complaint from Holly Ricketson, filed today in federal court in California. After opening the box that contained the Wicked doll, plaintiff's minor daughter used an iPhone to visit the website shown on defendant's packaging. The photo illustrated filing against the toy giant goes on to say, to her absolute shock, the website, wicked.com, had nothing to do with the Wicked doll.
I want to point out, on or about November 11th, Mattel had said that they were apologizing for the unfortunate error.
Yeah.
So this would have been after it became known to people that it was on the boxes.
Yeah.
So what did she go buy a doll box, had her kid go to the website, and then they're going to try to sue? Because at that point, Mattel had already apologized for the error and said not to, and then we're in the process of recalling the dolls by November 11th. I just looked at my phone.
The Wicked.com site pasted scenes of pornographic advertisements across her phone screen. These scenes were hardcore, full-on nude pornographic images depicting actual intercourse.
Again, let me refresh this by telling you that you first had to go to the site, and when you go to the site, a page comes up and says, you have to be 18 or older to enter this website.
Yes.
First of all, a big black screen comes up and you have to accept and enter the website to begin with. Okay.
Big black screen.
I said screen.
Okay.
Then secondly, when you go to that website, there were pictures of that. But you had to scroll down to that first of all, because it was just like, pictures at the top that were just like more like a profile picture, and then you would go down and you would see those. However, the day after, when we did our video on this, it was the day after everybody was talking about it, because I covered it on Pirates and Princesses the day before, which would have been the 10th. And when we did this video, I am really sure that I said, because I know on the 10th, it was showing that you could still see those images. And when we had to do research for the video, I went and looked, and they took those images down. Yeah. So when you went to that page, there was nothing hardcore on that page either, because of the doll fiasco. Because I even talked about how the Wicked site made sure that was, that they weren't showing anything because of this, what happened, and because of the kids. So if it was on or around November 11th, that was already after it was announced that there was a problem. And it was likely that was by the time that they had the wicked.com had changed their entry page that you had to get to after accepting that you were an adult to enter that part. And then when you went to the next page, I know between the day I first covered it on Pirates and Princesses till the day we did this video, they changed the site on wicked.com.
Yeah.
So I already have questions. I already have questions.
Heard about, I believe what probably happened is she heard about it. She hurried up and went and bought her kid a doll. This whole thing supposedly
sent her to the website.
Yeah. And then, this is insane. Because again, these dolls were available for like 2 months before someone caught that it went to the wrong URL.
And as soon as it was posted that it was going on, I know by the next day, boom, like Wicked.com changed their page. So you weren't seeing hardcore stuff.
Yep. They said, we've got pictures of the porno stuff.
Wait. Her daughter went to used her screen and then she brought the phone to her mom. And then her mom just took pictures of it then. That's awfully,
Yeah, what she did is she went out and bought a doll, or she had a doll and they opened it up and they went to the web, or they had bought it before and they went to the website.
We don't know this.
Cash in.
What it seems like she did. I don't know. That's how it comes across.
This is a theory.
This is how it comes across.
This is what I would think. If I were Mattel, I'd be like, oh, isn't that convenient? Like, you didn't accidentally go there because you waited until after the entire internet was on fire.
Because it's really weird, because I know the day before we did this video, I did the article on Pirates and Princesses, and I went to the site to see what was going on. And I described that in the video we did on the 11th, which was the day after. And I'm pretty sure it was in that video that by the time we recorded that video, I had gone back to the site and they had taken those pictures down. So I don't know. It just seems... Yeah. It just happens to be that it happened around the date it was announced that people were finding out that the dolls had a problem. If it had been like, oh, we found out 2 weeks prior, but our lawyer said not to say anything, then I can be like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. But this happens at the exact same time that everybody's finding out about it. It's a little convenient. Well, I'm just saying, in my opinion.
Get this, right?
My opinion.
Besides the obvious, what really seems to have gotten under her skin is that at no point did Mattel even offer any refund for consumers who already purchased the dolls. To that, proclaiming the controversy exceeds $5 million. The complaint from Charleston, North Carolina firm Pullen, Wiley & Estopolo wants class certification for what was widely reported as a snafu, as well as a wide variety of unspecified damages against the home of Barbie and Hot Wheels. Universal's not named. Well, yeah, because most of the Wicked merch had the correct address, just the Mattel dolls.
Screwed up, yes.
Yeah, because
Universal didn't do it.
Even the other toys,
but I'm sure if they thought they could put it on Universal, they would have too.
I'm sure they would. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what they're saying. They don't want a refund, and now the refund is $5 million, unless it's like $5 million, but it's just to give people refunds. I mean, if you're just wanting $5 million for refunds for people who want doll refunds, then okay, I can maybe see it. But that's not what they're saying. Unspecified damages. It better be just doll refunds.
She needs psychotherapy for the adult website that she had to consent to visit.
Right. I happen to be right there to take pictures of.
You could have even accidentally put that in. Actually, if somebody was going to go wickedmovie.com and they just thought, oh, what's the website? Because I'm
sure a lot of people went to wicked.com before the dolls.
Yeah, they probably just went to wicked.com thinking that's a movie. Like, oh, what's the website for the movie? Wicked. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's probably.
I mean, Mattel should have offered a refund if someone wanted a refund.
Yeah.
I mean, that I think they should have done at least. I don't disagree with the parent on that. If that's what she wanted was a refund, then, okay, I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
But it went from a refund to now it's a class action lawsuit. And again, the dolls were out for a long period of time before Reddit even noticed that it was an issue.
Yeah, and Reddit, they noticed it a couple days before.
Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the media picked up on it. And then again, like this was on or around, and the 10th or 11th is, around then is when it broke. The news broke. So I just find the timing very specific.
It's very odd, right? And they're talking about we'll talk about how much money the movie's making, which also I'm sure factors into it. Mattel had something to say today, sort of. So this is their update. The company declined to comment on the litigation. They did, however, give Deadline the following statement on Monday. The Wicked dolls have returned for sale with correct packaging at retailers online and in stores to meet strong consumer demand for the products. Yeah, it's kind of awkward to have to pull them right before Christmas. And the movie's making money, and
so they had to probably spend a good amount of money to get more dolls on the shelves.
Oh, I'm sure.
Address.
The previous misprint on the package in no way impacts the value or play experience provided by the product itself in the limited number of units sold before the correction. We express our gratitude to our consumers and retailers for their understanding and patience while we work to remedy the issue.
They were out for a couple months, so limited. And I'll give them limited in the fact that the dolls sat on the shelf and no one really bought them until
the movie came out.
Until the news broke about and then they all of a sudden were either bought or were removed. So there was a limited number, but their limited number of units sold was because they sat on the shelf and no one was buying them.
Yeah.
Until the movie came out and people saw what it was. And even before that, till this came out. So I question a lot of things here. I really do. But it's in my opinion, obviously. I have to make sure I stress that. It's in my opinion. I cannot prove that she did or didn't do any of these things. What does Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump case have to do with the dolls?
Well, apparently the company, which I didn't know, the company was mentioned several times in Donald Trump's criminal case in New York earlier this year as Wicked Pictures.
Oh, the Wicked.com.
Yeah, sponsors for the celebrity golf tournament where the former and future president met Stormy Daniels, who was working at the event to promote the company. The rest of that hookup is literally history.
Okay, but what's that have to do with the price of gas here? Other than to put Trump's name in the article to try to push it.
Yeah, I know, right?
But look, I think if you're trying to get your money back for the doll, that's acceptable. But a class action lawsuit, if it's over the fact that the kid went to the website that there was a gateway blocking and you went past it anyway, that one I think is kind of pushing it. That's why they're probably not. I don't think they're suing the Wicked films, are they? Just Mattel.
Yeah, I think if they could, like you said, if they could, they would. But I don't think they can do that because it's not like Universal gave them the wrong URL because it's correct on all the other merchandise. It's just Mattel dolls.
Like I said, if this person would have been like, oh, we bought it early November before it was announced that there was a problem and that we noticed it then I would be like, oh yeah, because they got it before the date. But when you're telling me it's on the same date as the day after it was breaking in the news, I think it was breaking 9th and the 10th, and then this is around the 11th, I'm like, that's just weird. That's awfully convenient.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be more willing to believe it if it had been something that they caught a month ago or, weeks before or something like that. But that isn't the case here. So that immediately makes me skeptical of the situation.
So, I mean, speaking of money, speaking of Wicked, maybe this movie will break $1 billion. They said that they thought this movie might do $1 billion before it's all said and done. The second weekend, it did $81.1 million, setting a record for the highest grossing second weekend ever for a movie that didn't hit the number one spot. So Moana 2 beat it, but $81.1 million in your second weekend.
So you know what? Maybe it'll do well. I know our daughter wants to see it. We just haven't had time. I haven't taken time to take her. We've had a lot going on.
Yeah. So let's see. Domestic 263 and global 359.2 million. Yeah.
So that's what it is so far. the director, the guy who did, is that the guy who did the
Gem movie?
Gem movie? That's
Yes.
what I thought.
Yes.
Apparently he's learned some things. Because Gem was, I
Gem
won't
was not
watch
good.
it. I refuse to watch Gem. Nope, that's not Gem.
They could actually do Gem correctly, but you would have to set it in the 1980s, or you would have to adjust it for today and be, talk about like AI and holograms and.
But see, you could, it worked in the 80s because it was idea, it was feasible, but it wasn't something that was like common. And now people would be like, oh, that probably could be done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't so fantastical now. But anyway, back to the lawsuit. I understand why people might be suing for it. I get it. Because, we're talking kids here, and I understand that. I just think that if it had been like, oh, we bought a doll in like end of October and we saw this, I'd be like, yeah, okay, totally. But the timing.
It's a little suspect. So I think what'll happen is they'll probably say, hey, we'll give you, $1,000 in a box full of dolls.
No, I don't think so. But I'm just saying now this law firm's going to go after it because they're smelling like $5 million and they'll get like 40% of it.
Yeah.
So of course they all want to do it. But it's just like, I mean, maybe they'll just pay them off because $5 million. I think it starts at $5 million. They want more than that. I think it's an excess of $5 million. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
There we go, guys.
Wait, real quick. Go to the comments. What are the comments saying? Doing my own research, I found out that navigating to wicked.com first takes you to a full page disclaimer that the site is for adults only. Require a person to click confirm before continuing. The next picture is proven in productive clothing, but no nudity. It did have nudity, but they changed it.
Yeah.
They did change it. You forgot the third option. Someone just wants a payday and saw an opportunity to grab one.
Yep. Yeah,
I checked this out.
The date definitely is.
Yeah, I checked this out when the story first broke. It's a subscription-only site. There's a lot of pornography on the internet, but most of it's just being thrown at you for free is not on this site. It was. If you go to the page initially on like the 10th, I can tell you that the day I wrote the article on Pirates and Princesses, if you scroll down, you could see, images that were graphic. But by the next day, because I was going to talk about, we were talking about it for the video, and I went back and looked, and they had taken them off, because I even commented and said, well, Wicked.com is doing more to make sure the kids don't see the images than Mattel seemed to have done.
Yeah.
So I know that by like the next day, which might have been the 11th, they were down.
Yeah.
So it had to be before the 11th or before they changed it over.
Yeah, multiple people in the comments saying that you were warned. It was a site for 18 plus.
You get a whole warning before you go on big black screen.
Yep.
People don't believe it. They're just like, I don't believe you.
Oh no, they said IO9 hasn't independently verified the contents of Wicked.com.
No, I don't believe
you. We have.
I did.
You did. You went. Yep.
South Carolina requires porn sites to first verify age, and it even says it's for adults only. So where was the parent? I got the black box telling me you had to verify too.
Yep. Come on, come off it, Karen. You have a kid, so clearly sex isn't something that offends you to the point of breaking. And while your kid may have been shocked by what she saw, it'll be nothing more than a funny anecdote for her in a month. They made an honest and understandable mistake. They apologized and corrected it, and no one was hurt. Your kid didn't get emotional distress over it. Stop trying to make a buck at the expense of others. You're not a good mom. You're being obnoxious and unethical.
Well, I don't know if saying they're not a good mom, I wouldn't say. But, you had to click through the explicit warning. That's what I'm saying. And like I told you, there was 2 days, and I don't know which days they are off the top of my head exactly, but I know the day, and I want to say it was the 10th, the pornographic imagery was there after you went past the over 18 screen. And the next day, whatever that day would have been, it was gone because the screen just showed you a bunch of just non-pornographic images on the first page.
This person here, this is what we were talking about. Can we check the woman's or the kid's web history to see if they actually went to...
Well, she has pictures, she said.
Okay. If they actually went to Wicked.com after the dolls hit the stores, but before the story
that's
broke.
What I want to know.
November 11th is when the story really broke.
But it was like out like the 9th or 10th, I think.
The items were recalled and the apology issued.
The apology, I think, was issued like the 10th or 11th.
It was over the weekend. I remember it was over a weekend.
Yeah, whatever Sunday was is the day that they issued the apology. So whatever that Sunday was the day that I think, because I remember it was on a Sunday, and I was like, oh, I thought to myself, someone must have got out of bed.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine that? Like you're at Mattel, you're like, oh, thank God it's the weekend. It's been so stressful. We got the holidays coming up, but I can just relax on this slow Sunday morning, and then your phone blows up.
I'm seeing ad week, November 11th. Mattel apologized in the statement.
Yeah.
November 10th, Wicked Dolls. Mattel apologizes for like the porn site. So
it was like the 9th then when it broke. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they apologized. If it was the 11th, they had already apologized by that day.
Yeah, I think a judge is
So,
going to throw
I'm
this
just
out.
like-
I
I'm
think a
just
judge
like-
is going to throw it out.
You know, parents want a refund on the dolls, then send back the doll in the packaging and then get the refund and then go buy another doll.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what I'd be like. Hey, we're sorry. It was a mistake. Mistakes happen.
That was a big one.
That was a.
I mean,
that was-
I get it.
That was kind of a big one. I
I
mean,
think
it was.
Mattel should be fined in some way for that because it was, you know, it was a big mistake involving children and possible pornography.
Yeah, their proofreader or intern or whoever the hell was, let
Yeah.
that slip. They're fired. I can almost guarantee that they're
I
fired.
think that they should be fined or something in a big way for that. But I just think the time, like I said, if she had said it, she could prove that it happened like way before it was announced, then okay. But if she can't, and she's saying herself it's around that time, then everybody's going to say the same thing. Well, isn't that interesting? Because that's when the news broke.
Yep.
So anyway.
We're going to wrap it up?
Yep.
Okay. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.